All right, now we're good. I'm recording. All right, so NASDAQ, like I said, had a nice little day, but needs to break over this 21 EMA, needs to break over this 52.55 area of price resistance, 52.60 right in that area. Not a lot of volume today, though. Let's see what the IBB did. IBB still looks like it's putting in a bear flag, right? We got that ALKS, which had a nice pop today, but I mean, it had a nice gap, but we talked about not chasing it, and that turned out to be a pretty good call, right? I mean, closed at the lower portion of the candle, big volume. I shouldn't say big. Big relative volume, 14 million shares traded hands, but you know, in the scope, it's not like it was turning its float, right? It has 90 million shares in the float. You know, a lot of times when we see these big runners, I mean, you see the whole float turn hands. Ah, DK wasn't here. That's why. That's why I didn't know to hit the record button. All right, so the IBB is still looking pretty weak. I mean, that is not a nice look. I mean, all of the shorter term moving averages sloping down. Did I lose somebody else now? Who is here? Anybody? I got three beeps here. All right, Peter's here. Okay, so anyway, all these moving averages sloping down below the 200-day moving average, not looking real good. So, you know, still an area that I think you have to stay on the sidelines. IWM. Where did we close today? We closed towards the top of the candle. Okay. All right. So Nick is having issues. All right. IWM is managing to hold on to this 100 EMA, but not very convincingly, right? I mean, it came down and tested this today, kissed it, and then did bounce towards the end of the day. But you know, we're still, you know, working our way lower, right? So IWM isn't looking very encouraging. Let's take a look at transportation. Had a little pull, tested the 50 EMA, managed to close back up at the 21 EMA, but still not looking real good. And earnings actually, I think, are coming in a little bit better than people expected them to. But, you know, maybe with this, you know, the election in front of us, and also fears of a Fed rate increase is got people spooked. And you know, we keep talking about the strength of the dollar. Keep an eye on it. And what happened today? Look at that. Had a little gap. Pretty good volume too. Dollar continues to climb. Right? It pierced the upper Bollinger Band, consolidated, and then just now we're moving higher, looking at heading up into this area 25.69 or so. Where we may find some price resistance, but still, you know, the strong dollar is not great for the market, and not great for, well, we've talked about it, right? It's just not great for the market, not great for gold, which I think took a hit today. You had dust and J-dust, which were making had some decent little bounces. Where'd it go? Where did we go? All right, let's take a look at gold. Oh, gold actually closed right on top of the 200-day moving average. It did pull back a little bit, and it had a little end-of-day bounce. Let's see what GDXJ. I mean, we're flagging out. We are flagging, right? Just below the 100 EMA and GDXJ, GDX. flagging right on top of the 21 EMA. You know, the bottom line is it's still a really choppy market, right? Just like we talked about yesterday, just not a lot of conviction in either direction. That guy that sent out that tweet, you know, if you see a trend lasting longer than 4 hours, call your doctor. That cracked me up, man, because you're just not getting that, right? We don't have really clearly defined strong trends. We're just getting a lot of choppy action. And you're right, DK, we do need to get that election behind us. So dust had a little bit of a popped right up into the 50 EMA and then pulled back. Let's take a look at JNUG and Nuggets real quick. There's Nugget. Right, it is flagging out. Did manage to close near the high of the day. Let's see what Labu did today. Not looking good. Bear flag in Labu. And LABD is kind of flagging out a little bit. So if IBB, so next week could be the big catalyst for the IBB, right? To break down or bust out of this bear flag to the upside, because we've got a lot of big, I think, biotechs reporting next week. So that should give us the direction that we're going to break into. But right now, it's not looking real positive. Let's take a look at. So, you know, we got some news. We had some news on oil this morning about, I think, Russia confirming that they were going to work with OPEC. And so if you look at it, what do? We came down here, we tested this short-term trend line, we bounced off of it, and we closed just above the 8 EMA. Right? Just a little consolidation here. I guess we could say that that's a little pennant formation, flagging out a little bit. But it's still, you know, oil and energy remains the sector to keep an eye on. Looks the best, but that SGY, I can't believe people were playing that SGY. Grim nailed it though. So good to see Grim back in the room. Grim called this, man. I mean, I wouldn't touch it. You know, the company just said they were going to file bankruptcy, right? So the people that are buying that thing were just, in my mind, were, you know, it was a complete lottery play. And look, it worked. It worked. If you bought it at 5, you made a quick buck. But I mean, another one where it could have easily been halted, right? I mean, it's so funny how some of these things get halted 25 times throughout a day, and then you get other ones that don't get halted, right? They just continue to let them trade. I think that is so. Hey, Peter, why is that? Can you explain that to me? You worked at Raymond James. Why is it that some of the stuff gets halted, you know, every 2 seconds, and then some other stuff doesn't get halted at all? I would really like to know that. All right, so let's take a look at the SMH and the SPY real quick. Oh, it's up to the company. I didn't know that. I thought if you have a 10% move either direction, I thought the exchanges force the halt. But maybe I guess I was wrong. All right, so SMH. So it looks like you know, there is going to be a deal between Qualcomm and NXPI. It looks like they came to a price, and it's going to be all cash, $110. Didn't really seem to impact the SMH at all. pulled back a little bit and then late day bounce, but closed right here at the at this trend line, at the short-term trend line at resistance. Yeah, our exchange is detected. Okay, so that is true, but sometimes they do have big percentage moves and they don't halt them. That's what confuses me sometimes with that stuff. All right, let's look at the SPY. So, you know, if you look at what's going on with the SPY right now, I mean, we are going to resolve one direction or another fairly soon. I mean, we're just coiling up, right? We just keep bouncing between these two areas of support and resistance, these two little trend lines here. But at some point, we are going to resolve in one direction or the other. And my concern is that the longer it takes to resolve to the upside, that it, you know, maybe we break to the downside. Let's see here. TVIX. So let's look at VIX real quick. And as long as we continue to move sideways like this, we're just not gonna. So we're starting to pierce the lower Bollinger Band in volatility, right? Let me see what UVXY looks like. Piercing the lower Bollinger Band. So, you know, look, if we get a candle like we did back here when we got out of the lower Bollinger Band, we get a couple of candles. Remember, we got that really nice snapback. That could be, you know, we should start kind of paying attention to this to see if that maybe develops next week. All right, let's take a look at aerospace and defense. Continues to look weak. Nick, why do you have to leave? You just got here. Look, I will upload this so you can watch it. You can watch it later. All right, so let's take a look. Home builders continue to drift lower, right? Pierced the lower Bollinger Band, but then did bounce towards the end of the day, but still closed lower. So just a really controlled move down like we talked about yesterday. Material sector, right? Still struggling with that trend line. Financials not doing anything, even though we've had all those good. And that's the other thing that's kind of like concerning, right? We had all these decent financial earnings, and the sector really isn't doing a whole heck of a lot. All right, healthcare. Another weak day, right? And look at the 8 EMA. So it was starting to flatten out, looking like maybe it could curl up. And instead, it's taken a little turn to the downside here. Can't get back over the 200-day moving average. So still looking guilty till proven innocent. Whoa. Consumer discretionary, nice little pop there. What was that all about? That's a nice little pop there. But so look at what we are potentially coming back up to. So we're testing the moving averages. We came up, we tested them, we pulled back a little bit. The next test will be this trend line here and 80 bucks. We'll see how this acts as resistance. I'm not sure what spiked this today, but closed nearly at the high of the day. But 80 bucks is the big spot that we need to try and get through. Metals and mining pull back. exploration, indecision candle, and let's look at retail. Retail had a little bounce today, and Peter got to play that through the JWN. Nice trade in JWN, Peter. All right, so look, so last week I was saying the Bears could take control if they really wanted to. They haven't. Said that earnings could be, the catalyst. It really hasn't been. I mean, it's been for some specific names, but it really hasn't done anything for the markets. We still continue to be in this choppy action, and maybe next week with the big chunk of earnings that we've got coming out, and let me see if that is up yet, and we'll take a look at what is coming out next week. Oops. See if we can see if that's coming out here. Hold on. So, unfortunately, it's not coming up in Twitter. So apparently Twitter's still having some problems here. So I'll wait until Sunday when I do the live stocks to watch, or the pro stocks to watch. I'll go over that on Sunday. Let's see if we've got anything. Friday afternoons typically are not real big for news after the close. You don't, unless it's a tiny company that wants to screw all their shareholders and announce an offering. We're heading into the weekend. Reaction to. So how about that build in rigs this week too? We had a big build of rigs with oil hovering up here. So that's kind of interesting as well, right? I mean, if we get all these people coming back online with all these rigs, what's that going to do to supply? And then if supply starts to go bonkers again, what's going to happen to the price of oil? So that was a pretty big build in rigs this week. There's quarter distribution. DHI offers Apple. Hearing Apple approached Warner a few months ago. Oh, Apple had approached Time Warner. Interesting. Okay, Vive filed a patent infringement suit against somebody. Against Thermi. I have no idea who that is. And I've talked to you about those patent infringement companies. Just because they filed the patent infringement suit doesn't mean anything. It means they're going to spend more money. That's what it means. Provides preliminary catastrophe losses, CMFR. Not a lot going on there after releasing those estimates, but kind of an interesting setup. Very tiny floater, 4.3 million shares in the float on the CMFR. What's the weekly look like? This is a recent IPO. That's kind of interesting, actually. I might put this, it only traded 8,000 shares today. Really, really, really thin float. So would have to be extremely cautious with this thing. Hold on, I got a form for it here. acquisition, non-open trade. So this could have been a grant or an award, but pick some up at $8.17. That was 30 days ago. I mean, if this thing got some volume, I mean, from a technical standpoint, it's kind of hot looking, right? I mean, it's over the moving averages. Shorter term moving averages are sloping up. Broke this trend line, hanging out right above the $8 holla, right? So 8 could be acting as potential price support, right? Resistance, support, kind of interesting. But man, we would need to have some real volume to play that thing. All right. Anybody got anything? Anybody? Do DK or Peter have anything that they are watching after the close here? Look, I know it's Friday. Not everybody wants to come hang out and do this Friday after the close. People want to close it up and go do fun stuff. But this is fun stuff. PF, Pfizer is one of those that I would like to own in my long-term hold account if it really went on sale. Got some some good news today, but didn't really react to it. Pretty controlled takedown in Pfizer. As long as the IBB and healthcare are getting whacked, this is probably going to go lower. But so you're going to go all short, Peter? Is that your plan? Yeah. I mean, Pfizer could come all the way down here to $27, $28. Twilio. Morgan Stanley took a 5.2% stake in Twilio. I mean, Twilio is not hot at all. And I know it did have some range today. It did get a couple of bounces, but I would probably be pretty cautious of that. FXE, Euro Trust Trade. Okay. Look, not seeing a whole lot, right? It's Friday afternoon. Most people are going home. I will have a stocks to watch list of stocks for next week. I'll have the earnings that are coming out for next week. I'm going to be doing ticker TV. Actually, I'm thinking about that too. Since now we have this webinar set up, I might just move it to the webinar and not do it on ticker TV anymore. I haven't decided yet, but that's what I'm kind of thinking about doing. We'll see. I'll make that decision by Sunday, but I will be doing stocks to watch this Sunday at 8 a.m. And that's it. That's it. Unless you guys have anything that you want to ask about or talk about. I mean, we had some nice stocks this week. You know what? This Twitter, so I mean, there were a shitload of rumors that came out today, man. Everybody was getting bought or possibly getting bought. FireEye, I mean, the same suspects every time. I mean, this is an ugly, ugly chart, right? I mean, gaps all over the place. This is just one ugly, ugly, manipulated stock chart. I mean, that is just an insane looking chart. And it, you know, there's this, I think there's probably a significant amount of people that have been shorting this thing, and they keep getting caught up in these little rumors. Okay, here's a company that screwed their shareholders. NBRV. A1 is coming in and we're getting ready to leave. All right, we got to at least hang out and let A1 come on in. Let's take a look at this NBRV. A1, you're late, man. We have a very short video today. A1, you're late. We have a short video today. Almost ended it just now. So here's a company that just did an IPO, and anybody that bought that IPO got smashed. It's been in a downtrend pretty much since the IPO. And on a nice Friday afternoon, what did they do? They come out and they did they just registered for a mixed shelf of 75 million mixed shelf. So that just means that there is there so that they can dilute at any time that they choose in the near future. They say that when M&A runs rampant, it's the cyclical end of a bull market. Really? That's interesting. I mean, look, that could be true. My only issue with the end of the bull market thing is typically you get that parabolic run at the end of a market, right? You get that parabolic, and I just haven't seen that parabolic spike in the market, you know, where it just kind of goes crazy for, you know, but this, you know, look, this market could be very different. Who knows? It's definitely acting like it's tired, right? It is definitely acting like it's tired, but you know, usually you see that capitulation. I mean, we've been trading sideways really for the most part for a couple of years, right? I mean, that's really what we've been doing. It hasn't been. I mean, this would be the most well announced market top in history, I think, right? I mean, it's the most advertised, well announced, gives you all kinds of time to get out. And that's what bothers me about it. That is what bothers me about it, is that it just takes forever for this thing to decide which way to go. I don't know, man. It's definitely a difficult market. There is no doubt about it. So, you know, Peter, when you had that, you know, when you have a good trade, you know, whether your entries and exits are perfect or not, you know, having a good trade in this type of market is you got to give yourself some credit, man. There's some big time hedge funds and money managers that are really struggling in this market. So, you know, if you could take a little bit here, take a little bit there, you'll keep getting better. I mean, if you could trade and make money in this market, just imagine what it would be like, you know, if you have a really powerful breakout trend, right? It should make it easier. But this could, you're absolutely right. I mean, this could be just the distribution that's happening up here, right? Distribution, and eventually we're going to finally crack. And then, you know, it will be the time that, right, so sometimes it's a larger piece, right? Take a slice of the pie, that's it. Just little slices at a time. I mean, if the market really, one of these times, we all know it. We all know that one of these times, the market's going to roll over, the market's going to dip, and it's not going to be a buy the dip market, right? We know that that is going to happen at some point. And then, actually, that'll be okay because we'll know what to play, right? Volatility will be fun to play again. The short ETFs will be fun to play again. You know, TZA. I mean, when those things, when the market really rolls over, TZA, SPS, SPXS, you know, those things make incredible moves, right? So we'll be ready. We'll be prepared. We just need it to happen. So, all right, A1, are you here? Say hello. You have to say hello, man. Maybe he's not here. All right, so listen, enjoy your weekend. Hello, A1. All right, enjoy your weekend, and I'll either see you guys Sunday, or I will have a video for you guys, for the pro members, on Sunday sometime, probably early afternoon. All right, have a great weekend. Be safe and have fun. All right, I'll see you guys later.